Tell me this doesn't happen to you. You're out on the golf course, you play the first 4 or 5 holes beautifully, you make a bad swing on 6, you make another bad swing in the approach, and the next thing you know, you're on the bogey train and you can't get off it, and you take what could be, what should be a great round of golf, and it turns out being a poor round of golf. And the reason why is you don't know how to put the wheels back on when you go sideways. I want to get you to understand how to pay attention to that and how to know what you're doing. First thing I would tell you to do is, in order for you to be able to put the wheels back on, you got to know what the wheels look like. And the wheels are shown in the golf ball. Teach yourself to watch every golf ball thoroughly, whether it's yours or somebody else's, whether you're in the fairway or you're on a green. Watch the ball thoroughly. You're going to gain information. You'll gain information about speed of greens. You'll gain information about wind. You'll gain information. Watch the ball thoroughly. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to have an understanding of what your normal ball flight would look like. So when I hit this ball, this golf ball will typically launch right around 17, 18 degrees. It'll go about 175 yards. It should fall a little bit to the right with about a 90-foot apex. Now, that's what will typically happen. If it's close to that, I'm okay with that. It's when I get something that is really quite a bit different, then I get into some trouble here. So here's my golf shot. Now, wasn't my perfect strike. Pretty good shot. Didn't quite go exactly the way I wanted, so I made a miss hit there. But I want you to see some of the stuff that I'm aware of, that I know what my golf ball will tend to do. First of all, my ball speed is typically about 115. That's 114. Tells me that I made a bit of a miss hit. My 6-iron clubhead speed right around 81 to 82, so that's pretty normal. My launch angle at 19, it's a little bit higher, so my club face was a little bit more open than I wanted to. And my apex, I told you, is about 90 feet. That one is at 91 feet. My golf ball will typically go about 175, so that's a little bit of a miss hit, a lot of different things here. But that's in the neighborhood of what I'm trying to get. Now, come back over here, we'll hit another shot. And what I want you to see is, what is a shot that's really sort of uncharacteristic of a golf shot that I would expect. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the ball forward, which you would think, well, that's going to make it go high. But it's not going to go high. It's actually going to go low, and it's going to start more left. And that ball that I just hit, by the way, started about 2 degrees to the left. So watch this one. So this one is going to be a little bit different than the shot that I hit before. Specifically, it starts 5 degrees to the left. Now, that's a lot more than I normally do. Also, too, by the way, the launch angle's at 17.5. A little bit lower than, like 18 is where I'm going, but pay attention to the apex, 81 feet. Now, that's close, but that's not what my normal shot would do. And if I over-exaggerate this even more, it can get uglier. You want to see what ugly looks like? Let me show you what ugly looks like, because this is going to get really ugly right now. I'm going to put in, this is going to be my all ugly team right here. Watch the all ugly team here. So this is the all ugly team. So here's all ugly. Come on over here. And now what you're going to see is, you're going to see the ramifications of all ugly. First of all, ball speed was up to 120. That's not bad. But the launch angle was at 13. Really low shot. Apex at 66. That's 2/3 of my normal trajectory. So all of a sudden, this golf ball is starting way out to the left-hand side. Now, let's go look at some of the data that we have for that swing. And what you can see is that golf club was going out to in 8.4 degrees. 8.4, talk about over the top. That's over the top. The launch angle now coming down about 6 degrees, all that stuff that I'm talking. Why does that happen? You know why that happens? Because when you set up, you miss a simple thing like ball position. And I'm not talking about close and far. I'm talking about left and right. It gets a little bit too far forward in your stance. And the next thing you know, you don't make the golf swing that you want, because your shoulders open up here. And so when you start to open up your shoulders, now the club is very steep in its angle of attack, and the ball launches out lower. It might even go a little bit farther. It might go a little bit shorter, because the contact is unpredictable. But the other thing that will happen is you won't get a great follow through, because when I get steep, now my golf club is running into the earth. And I sort of have this rule of thumb: whenever you're in a fight with something that's been around longer than you, you're probably going to lose. And the earth, millions of years, I don't know how many, but it ain't millions. I promise you, it ain't millions. And so what you're doing is you're creating a steep motion, and you create a steep motion because the golf ball gets so forward, you hang on your lead side. You never really make a golf swing that is your golf swing. You come into this, it comes crashing into the ground, and it starts. Well, how far to the left did that start? Almost 10 degrees to the left. So it's a dramatic pull with not nearly the slice that you need to get it back to the target. And you end up over the green in a back bunker or worse, maybe out of bounds or in a hazard of some sort. Why? Not because of what you did in your golf swing. Yeah, you didn't make a great golf swing, but it's not your golf swing that failed. It's your ball position that failed. So what I want you to do is I want you to take the ball position and now move it back. You're out there playing, you see that shot come out and you go, oh man, I got that ball a little bit too far forward in my stance. I want to make sure that I get that ball position now a little bit more standard. And when I go standard, now all of a sudden I make a golf swing that looks similar to what I normally do. In fact, that one I hit even a little bit more solidly, but these numbers are representative of what I would normally get. 118 miles an hour of ball speed, 81 miles an hour of club head speed. That's great. Carried that ball 176.6. The apex on that one, 98. These are really in the neighborhood of my golf swing. All I did there was move that ball position a little bit more back, and I got something that I wanted. Now, let's come over here and take a little look at what we had in that. And what you can see, what sticks out is this right here, into out, 0.2. That's basically square. That's basically a square path coming into that ball. Now, the one before, I think that thing was like 8.4, 8.6 degrees going out to in, which is why that was such a bad trajectory shot, only 66 in the apex. This one here is 98 in the apex because the path of the club coming into the ball was a whole lot better. So when we start to think about what influences our motion, well, one of the greatest influences in motion, and in fact, I think one of the most important fundamentals, is the ball position. We don't pay attention to it as much and as thoroughly as we should. Don't let that thing get too far forward. Now, what will happen if we get it too far back? Well, quite the opposite. So when we got it too far forward, I ended up making a swing that was a little bit more upright. The angle of attack was a little bit steeper. The ball started quite a bit to the left, almost 10 degrees to the left, and was a little bit lower. What do you imagine will happen if the ball gets too far back? Yes, 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 and yes. It's exactly right. I'm going to make a swing that's a little bit flatter. My arms are going to be a little bit lower in the backswing. So instead of being up here, they're going to be down here. My club face will be a little bit more shut. The ball's going to start out more to the right. The path of the club is going to be coming too much from the inside. I'm going to have a very shallow angle of attack. Boy, I almost put them all together there and had a real ball. So here you go. Watch what happens. So go back. Yeah, there's ball position back. Now, shoulders are going to get closed to that now. I'm going to make this swing. I catch it a little bit fat. The ball starts out to the right. It's got a bit of a hook to it. Not a bad shot. Now we come into our information gathering system. I've got a ball speed that was 114. I got it a little bit fat. The club head speed was 82. The club head speed's not going to be affected by running into the ground too soon. It's just flat. So now what we end up getting is we get a shot that goes roughly the distance that I want. My vertical launch is back up to 20, but what also happens is the ball now starts 5.4 degrees to the right-hand side. So that means that path with a closed face, because that's how we know with the side spin that it was left, that path was going way out to the right-hand side. So let's come over here and look at some of the information that we got. And what you can see is, and this is perfect, 13.5 degrees from the inside. So by moving the ball from as far forward as I had it, which was let's call it 8.5 because this is a 0.5. So 8.5 degrees over the top. This is 13.5 degrees from the inside. That's a 21 degree difference just by altering ball position. Okay? Now, let's put it back into what would be the correct spot for me. And one of the things that you need to understand is everybody has their correct position, and they're not all the same. So mine is just a little bit forward of what is a traditional type shot because I like to hit a cut. So I don't have it where a standard 6-iron, like if you read Hogan or Nicklaus or anybody that, they say, well, you got to put it in this particular. I'm not that guy. I'm a little bit forward of that. You may be like if you're a Tom Lehman type where you play a little bit draw and your shoulders are a little bit close to your feet. That would be a little bit back in your stance. So there is some wiggle room in all this, but you can't get out of sorts. You can't get too far forward. You can't get too far back. So I go back to what is my normal position here, which is, again, just slightly forward of what most people would play with their 6-iron because I'm hitting a cut, and then we go here. I steamed this one. This one I swung at pretty hard. But what you can see is numbers are pretty good. All the things that I need to do are pretty good. And what I end up getting is I end up getting a shot that I'm proud of. So here's what I want you to do. When you go out to play, and you start looking at what's going on, and all of a sudden you hit that shot that's over the top and starting well to the pull side, I want you to think to yourself, ball position must have gotten forward there. I'm going to pay a really close attention to what I'm doing when I set up to this ball, because it's going to influence how I make my golf swing. And as you start to understand what influences your motion, what you're going to realize, which is what I've been realizing lately, ball position is, if it's not the most important thing, it's tied for the most important thing with the grip. Pay attention to what you're doing in that pre-swing that's influencing your golf swing, and I promise you, you're going to have a much better chance of taking that great start round and putting the wheels back on. Pay attention to that. Put the wheels back on by understanding what's going on. Watch that golf ball all the time, okay? All right. A quick reminder as well. This is the kind of stuff we love to do. We also love to be able to communicate with you. So whether it's on our radio show on Sirius XM on A New Breed of Golf, or whether it's on Fridays right here on YouTube on A New Breed of Golf, you can reach me, you can reach us, me and Greg Ducharme. You can reach us any way through radio or through television. You can reach us and you can get your questions answered. Make sure you join us here on YouTube every Friday at noon Eastern. It's called A New Breed of Golf Live, and we're helping you improve your game. We're getting you caught up on what's happening on the PGA Tour. We're also helping you understand what's going on with your swing, any questions that you've got, and we've got a topic that we typically get into for the first part of the show. So it's a lot of fun to be able to do and to help you play better golf, and you can obviously also catch us on A New Breed of Golf every morning, Monday to Friday, on Sirius XM. I'm Michael Breed. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on Friday. To improve all parts of your game, subscribe to my channel and click the link below.